Unsolved.
Episode 229, JonBenet Case, The Ramsey Family Christmas Party, 1996, Revisited. So in the next few episodes, we're going to look at people that JonBenet might have met up to Christmas, going backwards. So first, we're going to look at this Christmas party that the Ramseys had with Santa Claus. And then we'll move to the Southwest Plaza Mall and who was there. And then we'll move to the Axis Graphics luncheon. And then we'll move all the way back to the Lights of December parade. Now in this episode, I'm going to look at two things, so it's two parts. The first part is I'm going to focus on one of the individuals at this party, and I think provide some new information about him that people will be interested to learn. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the 911 call made by Fleet White and what that might have been about and how they might be lying about what that call was all about. So I've put this graphic up before. This is the people that attended that gathering. And I put a little asterisk by some people that might not have been there. But I still put their name there so you know who they are. So the person that draws my interest out of all these people the most is Clifton Gaston. He is from California and he's a boyfriend of Priscilla White's sister. And so we'll go into his background. So here is a somewhat recent picture of Cliff Gaston. And he served in the military and was a helicopter pilot during Vietnam. And he continued to fly as a civilian helicopter pilot for many years. And at the bottom you can see that he did marry Allison. Now, he fits my profile of the author of the ransom note. That doesn't mean he wrote it. It just means that he's the approximate age that I said, education, and he doesn't really know John very well, which kind of fits my second look at the ransom note. For example, the good common sense, Southern common sense. He might have thought John was from Atlanta in the South, and that's why I wrote it. And he might not have known a lot of information about John other than what he heard through Fleet and Priscilla White. Now, Allison Brown was born on September 18th, 1946, and is Priscilla's sister. And she first married Donald. And I guess they divorced some years later, and they had several children. One of them being Heather Cox. And she married Bill, and so they were at the White's house during Christmas in 1996. Now it's my understanding that for some reason Allison and Heather were not at the kids' Christmas party on December 23rd. Just Bill and Cliff Gaston. Now, according to John Ramsey, Fleet White made a series of calls to get some medicine to his mother in the hospital in Aspen, Colorado. And it states, apparently he dialed wrong and got 911, and the police called back. But after checking with Fleet and the rest of the people in the house, Susan Stein informed them that the call was a mistake. But that's not exactly how it was reported in the newspaper. There was a newspaper article only written a few weeks after the 911 call.
According to the Washington Post, which quoted an unnamed source, Boulder police have been told the call was made by a drunken guest attending a Christmas party hosted by the child's parents. The Post reported Friday that the source close to the family described the call as irrelevant.
Now I'm going to do a little speculation on that 911 call. What if Fleet White made that call clearly to notify the police of something serious that happened at the Ramseys' house? For example, what if he saw Clifton Gaston acting inappropriately with JonBenet? Or maybe he saw John Ramsey acting inappropriately, and so he decided to call 911 to report it. And maybe he was inebriated, and so somehow he hung up and stopped the call and then decided not to pursue the matter. And that's what the 911 call was about. And that could have triggered either Clifton Gaston or John Ramsey to be concerned about JonBenet and what she might do or say in the next few days, which might have led to her death.
If you haven't subscribed, subscribe please. It helps me out. Thanks.
Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved, and on the next JonBenet Ramsey episode, I'll incorporate a little bit more about Clifton Gaston in it, and we'll look at the performance that JonBenet gave at the mall just a few days before Christmas.